Okay, Jess, well, here we are. We said we were going to shoot today, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what. It's only the middle of October, but we are in Canada.
Exactly.
Look at the snow.
It's everywhere.
Couple inches of snow, no big deal, right? But the show must go on, right? So we're doing it. With everything ready to roll, we're going, right?
Exactly.
All right, let's go. Well, today we're going to talk about one of the probably the most famous of all things to do on a Canadian fishing trip. You come up to Canada, you do a shore lunch. Well, we're going to do a shore lunch today. We're not beside a lake, but just pretend, okay? Use your imagination. We're kind of like on the shore, right? Where's the lake from here? Three miles away.
Probably. I would have pointed the other direction.
Technically, we're on the shore, right? So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of things. We'll do the classic walleye Canadian shore lunch. We're going to fry some potatoes. We're going to do some beans. We're going to bread some fish. It's going to kick ass. But I'm going to show you a few things also to make your life easier, especially if you're a guide. Okay, now the first thing we're going to talk about is these potatoes here. If you just take some potatoes, raw potatoes, and throw them in the hot oil, they're going to taste like crap. They'll be burnt on the outside, and they'll be raw on the inside. So what I've done is I've pre-baked these. They're already baked, okay? So they're already cooked. You can boil them if you want. And if you're a guide working at a lodge, you can always get the kitchen staff to, cook them in advance for you. And that way they'll be nice and light and crispy. It'll save you a lot of time as well. Okay, so these potatoes are going in the hot oil. I've got the oil on the fire there. And for all of my outdoor frying, I generally use canola oil because it has a very high smoke point. It handles the heat very well. It gives us some pretty good flavor too. So let's see how our oil is doing here. It was pretty hot a second ago. We actually took it off because it was actually a bit too hot. Let's see how we're doing here. There we go. You want to hear that nice sizzle. Okay, now I don't know any potatoes that taste phenomenal by themselves. So let's put some dry herbs on here, some seasonings. There's a little bit of oregano going in, a little bit of basil. If you want to call it basil, you go right ahead. I don't care what you call it. Some granulated garlic. Everyone likes that, especially on potatoes. It's really good. And some dry parsley. And you can even use some fresh parsley if you want, which I have. I'll put some in just before I serve these up. And a little bit of salt. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna make you quiver. Yeah. We got a can of beans. In we go. Actually, you don't really need an excuse, do you, Pete? But we're not going to make just beans. Let's do something a little bit different here. We're gonna spruce these up, as we say. A little bit of mustard, maybe. You know, if you're working as a guide and you're putting on a shore lunch for your clients, put on a bit of a show. You know, do the big deal. It's Canada, right? The big shore lunch. A little bit of syrup. And if you're groovy, how about a bit of hot sauce? Just a little bit. That looks pretty good. And we'll just warm them up. We're not going to burn the living hell out of it. We're going to warm it up a little. Should be awesome. So good. All right. I'm going to do the same basic idea as everyone else. Nothing really original here. I'm going to work with equal parts of flour, breadcrumbs, and cornmeal. Those three are pretty safe bets to give you a nice crisp end result. The key to all of this is cooking your fish on high heat real quickly. So it gives you a nice light, crisp flavor at the end. I'm going to put some lemon pepper in here, and if you'd rather go with the hot spicy stuff, you go right ahead. It doesn't really matter. A little bit of garlic again, why not? And probably don't need salt, but I'll put a little bit in here. Maybe a bit of dry parsley. Oh, those beans look so good over there, so do those potatoes. Okay, now that's your basic standard, your basic shore lunch fish breading. It's pretty simple. Now again, you could put in here ground up crackers if you want, cornflake crumbs, whatever the hell you want. It doesn't really matter. The key, like I say, is cooking your fish high heat very quickly. Now, here's my walleye fillets here. You gotta have walleye if you come to Canada, right? You notice I've cut them very, very thin. And that way they're gonna cook very, very quickly, very high heat. If you got a nice big fillet like that, slice it even twice maybe and get it nice and thin. Okay, so then I'm gonna basically put some of these in here, and I've seen a lot of people shake them up in a bag. That works fine too, whatever the hell you want. There's 3 of us here. We have Jess, me, and Pete. So let's go with maybe 2 or 3 pieces each, just in case. Jess loves fish, eh, Jess?
Oh yes, it's my
She
favorite.
doesn't like fish. So Pete, Jess doesn't like fish, so me and you can eat hers. Homemade tartar sauce, why not, right? I've got my fish sitting there, the potatoes are going, the beans are going. Let's take some time. Let's make some homemade tartar sauce. This is really simple. And again, there's different ways of doing this, but let's say approximately 50-50 sour cream, right? That's easy. Mayo, that's easy. Even for me, I'm half nuts. All right, those off the side. If you want to put a bit of, you know what? Let's use some fresh parsley. In there. A dill pickle. Why not? And you could use some hot dog relish if you want. I don't care. Whatever's easier. But dill pickle's nice. Hey, Pete, come here. This guy's been bugging me about these dill pickles all day. Come over here, buddy. Here. One bite, one bite. Let's go. Come on, shove it in there. Come on. Okay, now get lost. Okay, I got some julienne dill pickles going here. And then I'll dice them up. Into the tartar sauce they go. All right, here's the moment we've all been waiting for. Check this out. Now, if that doesn't make you drool, I think you should probably check your pulse to make sure you're actually not dead. You know what I mean, Jess?
Uh-huh.
All right, look at that. And the beans are going good. Look at that, check it out. Got the potatoes, as we call them up here, taters, nice and crisp and golden brown. Beautiful. Now this fish should cook in about 60 seconds or maybe 2 minutes. Okay, I almost could have a bit more heat on that pan, believe it or not. But it's pretty good. Oops. There's enough heat on the handle. I'll do it this way. That looks so good. A little bit of fresh parsley just near the end. All right. What a difference that color makes. Okay, now what do you think about that? Canadian shore lunch walleye style. Let's try it. Oh, you've been bugging me all morning, right? Okay, you go ahead. Let the young kid have a shot here. Try that fish, buddy. Try my tartar sauce. Think about that. Oh, it's a sissy bite. What the hell's the matter with you? Take a big piece. Come on. How'd that look? You want a chainsaw? How's that, buddy? Is that good or what? Awesome.
That's delicious.
Come on up to Canada and do some of this.